Hello, everyone. You can probably see that there's no partition here between Carter and I today. We're actually up in King of Prussia, Pennsylvania at the CCP convention, the NCSG CCP. I'm not exactly sure if that's politically correct, but that's what I'm calling it. So, anyway, we'll be back just a minute. We'll let people that maybe aren't here get gathered, and we'll see you in just a minute. Well, we've got a fun topic today. Really, it's about something that many home service businesses and blue collar businesses are experiencing, and that is about hiring. So, we're going to talk about how marketing can help you find your best new employees. And we're going to jump right in. And we didn't know how many people would be on today. Simply because we do know there are a lot of people that are here. It's fun. You're seeing people for the first time in almost a year and a half, 2 years. And so people are coming up going, "Oh, hey, you look so good. It's great. Fantastic. Hey, Mark, glad to see you here. Thank you so much for showing up today. If you are here at CCP, please stop by and see Carter and I. There's a lot of booths here. It's going to be a lot of people, a lot of fun. So we're looking forward to it. But we are going to dive in and start with something that nobody really wants to talk about. And that is, why would someone choose your company over the same type of company right down the street?
All right. So before we get into like specific things that distinguish your company from other companies, I want to just talk a minute about one of the most common ways that we hear about it from home service businesses of any stripe, just in any trade. The common complaint from management, leadership, and from owners is that there's just not anybody out there that wants to do this kind of work anymore, right? There's no good people left to hire. Nobody wants to work hard like, back in my day, those kinds of stories. And I get the sentiment. I mean, I do understand what you're talking about, but I want to challenge that way of thinking, okay? The way that many business owners have run their business for decades might not work anymore. I want to just put that seed in your head for a second to be thinking about the fact that the way you're hiring people now, if it's the same way you've been hiring people for 10 years or more, this is going to help you a lot to start thinking in a different mindset to find good people. Because here's the problem. It's not that there aren't good people out there that want to do this kind of work anymore. It's that the kinds of companies that exist aren't the kinds of companies that good people want to work for, okay? So what we've got to do is quit saying there aren't good people anymore, and we've got to start becoming the kinds of companies that good people want to work for, okay? That's the paradigm switch here. And what we're going to be talking about is a way that marketing can help you, but a lot of the work that's got to be done has got to be done first, okay? So, it's becoming the kind of company that good people want to work for. So what do good people want, right?
Yeah, that's what you have to think about. I mean, I read an article this morning I was sharing with Carter about health insurance. People do not want to work for a company that does not provide health insurance. In fact, 1 out of every 5, it is their top concern over salary, over anything else. So health insurance, huge. If you are not offering health insurance, and I would say if you are not only offering health insurance, but if you're not paying for the employee, if you're not paying for their health insurance, you need to rethink that, because they're going to be coming out of pocket covering their family, their spouse and kids, which is a pretty penny. So they are looking for the best deal on health insurance that they can find. Competitive salary and pay should go without anything. All right. You should know going in that you have to compete. I mean, we've looked this entire trip. We've been going to different restaurants, and we've seen people trying to hire at $12 an hour from a chicken place, and you go right across the street and they're paying $15 an hour at a chicken place. So who do you think's going to go to the 12 and not the 15? I mean, you guys got to start thinking about the competitive advantages that you need to have in your business in order to get the kinds of people that everybody is telling us they want. They want quality people. So you have to say, okay, what does a quality person look for in a job? So, don't discount this. If you just go willy-nilly and start marketing before you really think through these type of things, you're not going to get the people that you want. It's not going to happen.
Part of marketing that doesn't get talked about a lot, we always talk about marketing from this angle, which is, helping to find new leads or new customers for your business and for your products and services. But there's this other angle of marketing, which is understanding what your customers want, first of all, so that you can create a business that provides that to them, right? And arguably, that's probably the best place to start. If I was looking at starting a business from scratch today in any industry, the first thing I would do is try to understand the market to know what does the customer and the consumer in this particular market want, and how can I find a way of creating that product or that service affordably for them so that I become the clear market leader or can become the market leader to provide that service in a distinctive way. And it's no different when we start talking about employees. How can you become the kind of company, find out what it is that good employees want, okay? Like your best employee or the employee that you've always wished you could win away from your competitor and come to work for you. Figure out what it is that keeps them there working for that other guy. Figure out what your best employees want, and then figure out how can I create the kind of company that offers those benefits, those things in a way that the best kinds of people like that guy, people like those types of employees would be attracted to my business. And when you start to do that, you may realize I don't have enough money. I mean, we hear that often, and we can tell a story, and you may want to, I don't know, about having the health insurance conversation with a client who said, I don't think I can afford health insurance. And so we started walking through how much it costs him to hire people that don't care about insurance. And those are the kinds of employees that are just constantly churning through his business, and it's hard to find good people. And so what would happen if he spent a little bit more? How much could he afford to pay per employee in order to provide insurance? And suddenly he realized, if I could do that, and that's all it really cost me, I could start getting better employees. And in fact, that's what's happened. And now the kind of quality and caliber of employees that he's getting rivals some of the biggest HVAC and plumbing companies in the town. So it really has changed his game and upped the level of the kind of person that's applying for the job now. Ask the flip side, right? Not how could I possibly afford to do that, but say, how could I possibly not afford to do that, right? Like, what is it costing me because I'm not offering those things? That can be as revealing a question as the one of, how am I going to afford it?
Yeah, and the other thing that I see is a lot of companies, you may not be able to afford everything all at once. So just know what people's priorities are. Competitive salary, that's one of them. Health insurance, that's another one. Believe it or not, some of the hiring managers that I've talked to just recently, people want to have their birthdays off. Some of them want to, be assured that they can get off so they can celebrate their kids' birthdays and their spouse birthdays. So they want paid birthdays, family birthdays. There are some people that want more vacation time. You may want to set something up where people can have X amount of days to be able to flex if they want more vacation time, they want birthday time, do they want more, whatever, family leave time, whatever, just to have some flexible time in there. I mean, it's just one of the things that we're talking about it with our business. Another one of the things that we're talking about that we've not been able to do, but I think we're going to be able to do it here this next year, is to add a 401k or a simple plan. I personally like simples because If you're a smaller business on the smaller side, it doesn't take as much money to set up, and there's not near as much just administrative stuff that you have to do. So if you're a small company, setting up a simple is really pretty simple. But you have to make sure that you can match. So these are the things that you have to take in consideration. So even if you can't do it all at once, you can add things. You don't have to do everything today. It's saying this is what I'm going to start with, and do the best that you can with what you can do. Life insurance. Life insurance is one of the best things that you can offer, not only an employee, but a lot of times can offer their spouse and children. It's really affordable, guys, especially for you that have young people that work for you. Very, very affordable. And then bring in Aflac. Offer a couple of paid things in Aflac, and let them choose the things that they need in an Aflac program. These are all things that are relatively easy to do. There's a little bit of admin things that you have to work around in it, and the cost is manageable. And it's just things that you can do that make sure that the people that work for you now and the ones that you are trying to get into your business, give them a reason to want to work for you. All right. Make sure that you're attracting the people that you really want. And guys, if you guys could like us, if you're on Facebook, give us a thumbs up on YouTube. If you guys could do that, that would be awesome. I know I ask for that every time, but yeah, I know that Facebook and YouTube go, yeah, that's really good. So we'll keep asking. Anyway, thanks so much for you guys that do that. Mark, I see you're still in Florida. Some people didn't make the trek up here to Pennsylvania, but there are those that did. And again, if you did, come by and see us. So the next thing that I want to talk about, and there are other things. If you guys have other ideas of what you think as a company that you could offer employees, please share that with us in the comments. I mean, Carter and I think about things. We try to be real.
Well, we didn't even talk about culture,
yeah,
and creating a culture that attracts the best kinds of people. That's a whole different conversation.
Yeah.
We don't have time for it on this particular call, but it's something that you can absolutely use an amazing killer culture to attract better people.
And I think the other thing that you have to be prepared to do is two things. One is have really good job descriptions. And I know that's something that I feel like we haven't done as good a job at as we could do, and we need to be better. With us, as I was putting this together, it's like, yeah, we need to be better at the job descriptions that we have. The other thing that I think is really paramount is training. People don't hire as a day laborer. Nobody wants to work a day laborer job. I mean, that's you want professionals. You want people that are looking for careers. So if you're doing that, hire apprentices. I mean, I just talked to a guy that hired 5 guys that just graduated from high school. And what he's doing is incredible, because he's letting them do ride-alongs and letting them tell him what they think they're going to be really good at, what they really want to do. And so he's had great success doing that. And you don't have to do it all one person's way or another person's way, but these are all things to look at to really say there are really good people out there. I've got to figure out, how do I attract them? How do I attract them? Once you know that, then you can put your marketing message out there and start bringing them in and being really, really attractive. Thanks so much, Kathy. We appreciate the fact that you liked us. I love those thumbs up. Glad you're listening. So let's talk a little bit about, once you get all that done, and let me tell you, we went through this pretty quick. I'm going to tell you something that I believe. I think you need to spend probably 80% of your time getting ready to hire doing everything we just talked about. The other 20% is the marketing and all the rest. Okay? 80% needs to be really focused on becoming the type of company that people want to work for. I mean, that's paramount today. Every company, HVAC, plumbing, chimney, every company that I see that's really growing, it's not about the business right now. Every one of you guys are slammed. I've not talked to anybody that isn't having a really good year. What I am talking to people are people that are booking so far in the future because they don't have the manpower to do the work now. That's the problem. So if that's your problem, you must spend the time working on your business and being the type of company that people want to work for. Do not discount the young group either. High school, trade schools, junior colleges, got to get in with those people. Teachers. Those are the people you need to be in with in your community.
And be asking them what is it they want in a job and in a career. You may be surprised that their answers are nothing like the answers of your generation. And when you can build a company that they're interested in, you can find some really good people and at entry level kinds of salaries to get started, and they'll help you grow your business.
You bet. So once you get that ready, what are some of the things that you need to do? Well, you got to have those job descriptions, because when you create a hiring funnel, you're going to use the job descriptions in a really mighty way. Everywhere you are, you're going to use those job descriptions. So that could be not just in written form, but to do a video, culture video, employee testimonials of your current employees, your benefits package, your apprenticeship programs. What does that mean? What is your training program? What is the career path that you're training them for? Are they going to start out, in the chimney industry? Are they going to start out with their basic certification? And where do they go from there to be, to try to get better education and more certified to be able to go up in management? And are you expanding outside your area? I mean, these are all things to talk to people about. I've lost my place, so jump in here anytime, Carter.
Yeah, I think it's important for people to understand how they can advance. What we're seeing is that, when we talk about a decent employee versus the best kinds of employees, the real rock stars want to know, what is the kind of team I'm going to play with, and is there a chance for me to advance my career, to make a career out of this? I mean, you may find good employees that'll stick with you for a year or two who are just kind of transitioning through. They don't know really what they want to do yet. They'll probably move on down the road and, chase a different dream, but they'll stay with you for a little while, and they've got a decent work ethic, and they're not going to do any harm. But, why would you spend 2 years training somebody that's, probably going to leave 18 months into it? Really, showing them how they can advance their career, I think is a pretty important part of that. Taylor mentioned this idea of the funnel, creating a funnel that identifies good people at the top of the funnel, and then consistently throughout the process weeds out the ones that you don't want to waste your time on, so that at the bottom of the funnel, the ones that are coming out the other end of this funnel, that's whittling down the number of applicants to a set of people that are really qualified, that are really hungry, who really want a career doing the kind of work that you do. That's the goal here, and that's what marketing can help you do if you'll spend a little time setting that up.
Yeah, and it's really important in the funnel to have all the tools in your tool belt, if you will, so that people, by the time they spit out the bottom, that basically they have qualified themselves and said, yes, I want the position. Because one of the other things that we're seeing is two things. People are putting ads out and people are calling, but nobody shows up for interviews. You get ghosted because they're not it's basically a self-assessment, if you will, to take them through a funnel to where when they come out at the other end, they know what the job is, they know what it entails, and they've said, yes, I'm qualified to do this job and I want the job. And so when you schedule those interviews, people tend to show up a whole lot more. So that's really, really important. The second thing I think that really is important to you is time wasting. Okay. So another one of the complaints that I hear is I waste so much time trying to hire. So a lot of times we are trying to force the issue because we wait too long to put our ads out and to go and hire. We need to always be hiring. I've said this in a lot of different places. You should never not be hiring. If somebody comes to you and says, "What do you do?" Tell them what you do and say, "Hey, if you're ever interested in this or know somebody is, we're always hiring," so that that goes out there. And it doesn't mean that you might always not have a position or have a position for somebody. But if somebody comes in, and we've done this at Spark Marketer, we've had people that have interviewed with us and we've been so impressed with them, we hired them on the spot and put them to work. You can always put people to work. If you don't miss the opportunity of hiring a really good employee, don't miss that opportunity. I mean, I think that's something that you've got to be doing. You've got to have your antennas out, whether you're at dinner, I mean, I've told people, hire chefs. They're great hires. They are really hard workers. I've got a couple of people that actually listen to me, and they've had some really good experiences with employees. They know how to get up early. They know how to work, and they love being paid better than the restaurant industry can pay them. So that's always good stuff. Carry applications with you. Okay? Don't ever get caught without an application, or at least be able to send them a link to be able to fill out an application. Know what your application process is, okay? When somebody fills out an application, get back with them, even if you're not impressed. I get them all the time, and I answer them. All the time, I answer them. And they are so grateful that somebody actually took the time and said, "Hey, I think you're qualified, but not for here," or whatever it is.
We're not looking for
that right now, but I'm going to keep your resume on file so that when we are, you're going to be one of my first calls. So these are all the things that you can do. I mean, it just makes sense. The other thing I think we don't think about sometimes, and I actually came from one of my clients, hired the son of a customer. So don't not talk to your customers about what you're looking for when you're in their homes. Let them know that you're hiring. Let them know that you train. Let them know, all the things that you do for employees and what you have, because there are people out there who are really aware that they've got kids that don't really want to go to college. They want to do something else. So make sure they know that you guys are hiring. I think that's another place. So
yeah, carrying applications, making sure that you're mentioning to your customers, to your employees, make sure your employees know that you're planning on hiring. Some of our best employees, in fact, most of our best employees have come from our other employees. Mm-hmm. So that's always a great place to start. And notice yet that we haven't even talked about all of the places that you put ads, right? And we typically, when a marketing company talks about what can I do to find good people, that's where they want to start the conversation, is like Craigslist and Indeed and all the places that you can advertise and hang out your now hiring sign. But in our thinking, at least in our approach to this, that's one of the last things that you'll do, right? It's a great place to put it out. You're going to get a lot of hits and a lot of applications coming in and resumes coming in. But we all know that a lot of times it feels like we're spending all of this time looking through a lot of unqualified candidates and people who are not what we're looking for, just to find the diamonds in the rough, So why not do all the work that we've just talked about first, so that when you do finally start running ads, they're the kinds of ads that are attracting the right kinds of people. They're the kinds of ads that you're wasting less time, because now the ones that aren't a good fit are weeding themselves out when they get to your page and they start looking at the funnel that you've created to help them self-qualify or to weed themselves out before they ever mess with contacting you. You've done those things well, so you're saving a lot of time, right? That's the whole purpose of creating a system. The purpose of a system is not just to make things run on their own, but it's to create a pathway of the path of least resistance that gets you the best result time after time after time after time, with the least amount of effort. So creating a system that can get you there is what we think you should be doing. Like Taylor said, spend the majority of your time, the 80-20 rule, spend the majority of your time, the 80% of your time doing the things we talked about first, so that when you spend 20% of your time running ads and looking at those ads and reviewing them every morning, you're finding that the quality of those ads are better than you've ever seen before because you did the hard work. Before you run a marathon, what do? Right? You spend months training. I don't know this from personal experience, by the way, but I'm told that if you're going to run a marathon, you're going to train a whole lot before you ever, go strap on that number on your chest and run with a whole bunch of other idiots. So that's what we're talking about. Train first. Do the hard things that need to be done to create the kind of business that attracts good people, so that when you start actually running ads and trying to attract them, you find that the kinds of fish you're catching are just better because your bait's better.
Yeah, I like that. So let's talk about some of those places. You mentioned some of them. So Indeed, Craigslist, but a lot of people miss their local newspapers, local publications. The Nextdoor online is a place where you can put ads. Of course, Facebook's there. I mean, there's just a lot of places there. So now you do that. How about when you go to church? Put an ad in your church bulletin. Put an ad in the high schools. Go to the guidance counselors.
Go meet the shop teacher.
Go meet the shop teacher. Tell them you're hiring. Go to your local junior colleges. Yes, this all takes time, but it's your networking. If you're in a networking, BNI, Gold Star, Chamber of Commerce, anywhere like that, you've got to make sure that people know you are hiring. Very, very important. So I'm going to say something that we didn't even talk about, but I think this is another thing that we have to be prepared to do. It's just like you spend your money going out marketing, and when you have a potential client that calls in and says, "Hey, I have a gas fireplace," you don't stop there and say, "Oh, okay, we got a gas. Yeah, we can come out there and service it." I know y'all don't do that, because you're going to want to know what type it is, what's the problem. You're going to ask all the questions. It's the same thing. When somebody calls you and sends an application and you make that connection, you have to be prepared to ask the right questions. You've got to ask questions that can take them from here where they think they've qualified. You've got to make sure that you may be down here. I'm trying to figure out here, so that y'all meet in the middle, that you feel like they're qualified and they feel like they're qualified. The only way you can do that is have a set system of questions and know exactly the type of person and what you're looking for. If you don't, you're burning your marketing lead for the employees. And I'm amazed sometimes. I've known people that have a stack of applications, but they don't really know what to do with them. So you have to know, when they get back in touch with you, you've got to figure out a system and a way that gives you the information to know that, yes, that's who I want. Then you also have to be prepared to make the offer. It's kind of like when somebody says, "Well, how much do you charge?" And you tell them, if they say, "Well, how much do you pay?" And you're like, "We kind of pay between this and this." You've got to be much, much better structured than that and know what you're offering, what your benefits are. Even though they've seen it on the ad, they've seen it going through the funnel, you need to make sure and drive those benefits home and the things that you can do for them, because that's what they're looking for. So don't waste your marketing dollars for business, and don't waste your marketing dollars for getting employees. You've got to have all that together. It's just part of it.
So we're coming up on 30 minutes, which is what we said that we're going to try to keep these to. So just real quickly, why are we talking about hiring? Why does a marketing company care about this kind of stuff? And I just want to tell you guys, because we've worked with so many of you that tell us this is my number one problem. And as a marketing company, our antenna come up. We care about solving problems for our clients, and we look at hiring through the lens of marketing, and we know that we can help. That this is something that we can do to help you. But we've also seen so many clients who haven't thought about their hiring process through the lens of marketing. And what happens when you're, here's what poorly aimed marketing brings you. It brings you more headaches. It brings you more stress. It causes you to run around like a chicken with your head cut off in your own business, just trying to satisfy clients that you don't know where they're coming from or what they really want. But it's just a whole bunch of people standing in your yard saying, hey, feed us, help us, do the thing that you do. And you don't know if you really can help them or not, because none of the stuff that poorly aimed marketing sends you is qualified leads. We just want to help you solve the problem of hiring by aiming the cannons a little bit better, by focusing your marketing on how to find the best people. And we want you to be able to reach those goals that you have for growing your business. Almost every one of our clients, almost every one of the clients that come on board, new clients that come on board, already have more business than they can shake a stick at. The problem that we're solving for them really is helping them find the best client, the best new clients, the best new customers, and the best new hires that they can possibly find. If we can reduce your stress in your own business, if we can cause you to focus better to get more of what you really want and quit wasting your time on the stuff that doesn't get you where you really want to go, we can grow your business and create a life for you that's a hell of a lot better than the one that poorly aimed marketing can create for you. So that's the reason we're doing this, and that's why we want to be able to help you. And if we can talk to you about how we can do that in your business and bring to bear those tools of marketing, as well as just a wealth of partners that we have that can really help you bring a good hiring process to bear in your own business, then we want to be able to do that.
I couldn't have said that any better. I wish you all the luck in the world with your marketing, and especially marketing for new employees. And I second what Carter said. If you guys need some help, please reach out to me, Taylor@sparkmarketer.com. I'll let you know we're still doing the playbook. It's not going to be up for much longer, probably another 2 or 3 weeks. And then we're going to go do some other things. But if you have not gotten the playbook, if I had not looked at your website, if you're a client, you've gotten yours. If you haven't, get in touch with me as well. And I think this next week is going to be fun, because we are going to talk about turning lemons into lemonade. And by that, we're going to talk about how to take a negative review and turn it into a positive review, and actually dealing with difficult customers. I know a lot of people don't know that's a marketing function, but it really is. It's really reputation management online, but there are also some things that you can do offline. So we're going to talk about all those things. And again, I want to thank Kathy, Kelly, and Justin for giving us a like. Thank you so much. I've got couple more comments coming in. You're welcome, Mark and Kathy. I hope this helps you. Jerry, what you said, we actually talked about that at the very beginning. Couldn't agree more. Put together those reasons why someone would want to work for you. Very, very important. If you see anybody that you know in this industry that could use this information, please share this on your Facebook page. Get this information to as many people as possible. Get out there, talk about it. If there's somebody in your organization that needs to see this outside of you, please have them look at it. Chris, you and I are going to get together this next week with Chris Pitts and talk about your situation. Appreciate that, man. Guys, this is important. I think this is the number one thing. And if we can turn our businesses into magnets for the workers and employees that are looking out there today, I think this industry will just be a juggernaut. And that's what I'm really hopeful and hoping for. So guys, thank you so much for showing up. Carter, it's nice to be in the same room with you.
Yeah, without that divided thing.
Yeah, without that divided thing. And again, if you're here at CCP, please come by, say hello to us. We'd love to have a conversation. We'll talk to you later. Love you guys. Thanks so much. and we'll see you next week.
Bye, everyone.